Good morning, my beauties, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us today for another episode of A Crystal Clear Mind. Beautiful to have you here with us today. And today I'm very lucky to be joined by Kellie Jones. Hi, Kellie.
Hi.
Kellie is an absolutely fabulous human being. We've got yoga teacher here. We have got a sound healer here. She is a moonologist and more recently a professional astrologer. Kellie has created this amazing space called All Things Moon. And I'm going to hand over to you because my guests can only explain themselves much better than I can. So I'm going to hand over to you, Kellie. Tell us all about yourself.
Hi. Well, yeah, All Things Moon. So All Things Moon, as I was telling you earlier, was born out of me posting out on Instagram. I've been holding moon ceremonies. I teach yoga, Pilates. I've got I do sound healing with my partner, and collectively we're known as Gong to the Moon because we use the planetary gongs. And
Like that.
I started to teach my classes according to the moon phases, and I wanted to start a podcast. And I put a post out, and I just happened to say All Things Moon, and somebody commented saying, "Is that your new brand?" And I was like, "Yes, it is." So that's how All Things Moon was born with that name. But I am a Cancerian. So I am ruled by the moon, and ever since I was a little girl, I've always been fascinated by the nighttime sky. I was that child when you were going on a long journey and that you're trying to get me to go to sleep, and I didn't want to go to sleep. So I wanted to look out the window at the stars, and also didn't want to miss anything. Um, but our sun sign isn't just all that we are as a Cancerian. So I started to look into my own birth chart and realized that our moon, where the moon is, makes a big difference to who we are on the inside. And what's also known as our rising sign is how we come across to others. So all of these things combined, plus I think the world going into a mass shift in consciousness, the world having
Huge.
big crisis.
Yeah.
I needed to understand myself in that world crisis. So that's when I started to dive much deeper into astrology. First of all, a big interest in mundane astrology, mundane astrology is all about the world and how it affects us collectively. So I was listening to a lot of that, and that was really helping at the time, particularly through 2020, through those years.
Yeah.
What was going on that was something higher than what humans were doing.
Yeah, it
That
gives
was
you a
what
little
I
bit
was
more control back, doesn't it? It makes you feel like you've got a little bit of control over an uncontrollable situation.
absolutely, yeah, and at
Yeah.
least some kind of sense to it.
Yeah.
So I know from having looked at your chart that both you and I are Sagittarius risings.
Yeah.
So our rising sign, so that's our identity. That's how we come across. And Sagittarius are all about higher learning, things like astrology, philosophy, the big picture of life. So for something big to happen in the world, it's no surprise that we would be started to become interested in what's the big picture of this? All the little details are just making me feel stressed and
And
anxious.
funnily enough, your timing and my timing are very similar. It was in 2020 that I went on and began my learning journey for a bigger picture that I had better, not control. Control sounds like such a wrong word, but yeah, kind of a grasp
Yeah, but
over.
control
So I
is
absolutely love that.
we need to have some control, otherwise we're
Yeah.
just all Pisces. But Pisces is just floating around in space, basically. So, we do need to have a little bit of, self-control over
Yeah.
over things, not being a control freak. That's, you've got your extremes. And like all things, whether it's the moon, whether it's the sun, whatever sign it is, every planet, every sign, and every house
Yeah.
area of the zodiac chart. So in a zodiac chart, I'll just hold that up for a second. It looks like a pizza with all the slices, and each one is a sign, but each one is numbered. So if anybody out there looks at their own chart, you'll see that they're numbered 1 to 12. And that represents the houses, and the houses represents a different area of life. So house 2 is cash, money, and material possessions. House 10 is your career and what you're known for in the world. House 4 is home and family. And so all of those things have a higher and a lower expression of themselves. So getting to know these things helps you to understand whether you are being a lower expression of those things, and out in the world, the lower and higher expression of things. So it gives you something to aim for,
Yeah, like
or
an
to hope,
aspiration.
yeah, and to hope
Yeah.
for. So when you start getting into this, and I think for any listeners out there, the easiest way to start to become aware of what's going on astrologically is to follow the moon, because the moon is the closest. The moon, I think, moves, 1 degree an hour or something like that. So it moves every 2.5 days into a different sign. So you
Yeah.
can start noticing what sign the moon is in. Um, Getting a moon diary. I like my moon diary. I like a tangible, holdable moon diary. And this is really, I'm not promoting Yasmin Boland here, but her
Oh, I love that.
her her diary is very good for, you know, anybody out there. It's really easy to learn and to track and to follow, but there's loads of apps that you can get. I just don't want any more apps on my phone. Because now I'm I've studied professional astrology. I have the professional software to go with it, which comes with an app, so I have got that as well. But for anybody out there who's like kind of, I know a little bit about it, or I'm interested, just tracking the moon and starting to notice how you feel on a day and thinking to yourself, oh, I feel like this. I wonder where the moon is today. And you go and look and you're like, oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
If it's a Virgo moon, you're probably getting organized, or you're thinking about your health and well-being. And also, if one of the things that I recommend working with the moon for is that, particularly us as women, and particularly in this modern day and age where we have been literally trained to do the same thing every week. It's Monday, it's time for school. And
Yeah.
I've got to go to school all day, Monday to Friday. I've got to go to work on Monday. I know things are changing now since the 2020 thing. More and more people are working at home, sorting their own hours out, and that's good. I think the more flexible your working hours can
Yeah, that kind
be,
of fluidity is really
yeah,
helpful. Yeah.
yeah, because then when you start to track the moon and you realize, oh gosh, it's a dark moon day, which is the dark moon day is the day that the moon disappears from sight. It's the darkest night before it starts to reappear and become new again. Those couple of days, what we really ought to be doing, if we were really tuned into ourselves, we would be resting,
Yeah.
we would be nurturing, we would be going inwards, we wouldn't be going out. Yeah, it's not a day to go out into the world, it's a day to go inwards. And that happens every month.
Yeah.
But
Just
we work against that. We're working
well,
against
yeah.
ourselves. So
Yeah.
I've been working in the area of well-being for 34 years. I'm going to be 55 on the 7th of July. I still feel like that's a joke, and somewhere my birth chart is wrong. But no, 7/7/70 at 7 o'clock is my birth chart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Really?
all the
At 7
7.
o'clock as well?
So yeah, 12 minutes past 7. Yeah.
So you're like a walking angel number.
I am, yeah. So on 7th of 7th, 1977, I was 7 years old. That's 12 minutes
Oh
past.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
So, I've always taken note of those things. They've always been there. But as I said, I've been working in wellbeing for 34 years in various different ways. Originally, I was in theatre and I was a dancer and theatre and TV. And the Sagittarius rising in me, and I would say the ability to manifest, because we're manifesting constantly all the time with our thoughts, aren't we? But now I look back to my childhood when I started at what you would call normal comprehensive senior school. I hated it. My
Yeah,
little sensitive Cancerian absolutely hated that many people, all of that energy. I didn't understand it as energy
yeah,
then, but I just knew I didn't really want to go to school. And I was very, very high IQ. I'm a fast learner. I was an A student, and my parents couldn't really understand what had happened. Why was I doing so well in infant and junior school? And you can tell my age by even calling it that. Um, and then as soon as I started there, I started to want to go less and less. I started to skive off a bit, start to be a little bit naughty, going off the wrong path a bit. And I was still dancing in theatre, and I met some people from a theatre school called Sylvia Young Theatre School in London, and they persuaded my parents to let me audition for the school, and I got in, and that changed my life. But at that time, in 1981, 82, there was a series on TV. There was a movie and then the series on TV called Fame,
yeah,
all based in New York in a theatre school. And I loved it. I lived, eat, sleep, and breathe that program. I know every line from every song, and I just wanted that so badly. And then I did this show one day at the Kenneth More Theatre in Ilford, and my life changed from then. And I found myself in a theatre school doing just 3 days a week academic, and all the rest of it was singing, dancing, acting, TV work, shows, and that was my
you had
life.
that creative outlet as well, just that
Yeah,
release and that freedom and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And now that I know my chart, I know that I have the planet Venus in the sign of Leo. And it's also in the ninth house, which is to do with higher learning, but foreign lands and going on adventures. Um, but Venus in Leo means the essence of me needs to be on stage.
wow,
It's where I'm happiest. It's where I'm most me, dancing on stage. Now it's different. I use my voice more. But we go away from ourselves over time, peer pressure, things that we learn from others around us. It might be that your parents are not that confident, or their fears get installed in you, or my experience of being a dancer on stage and being a talented dancer is that I experienced a lot of, jealousy and resentment and bitchiness, which
yeah, it's a harsh world, isn't it?
yeah, my sensitivity just didn't deal very well with that. And so gradually, things started to manifest in a way that took me out of it.
Yeah,
And sometimes now I'm just kind of glad, because it is a bit of it can be not a very nice world to be in.
yeah,
It can be, but it's a hard, hard world. So that eventually pushed, the natural progression was to go into the wellness sector. And at dance college in 1986, we had a Pilates studio. And so that's where the Pilates came in for me. That was something that was connected to dance, where I express myself through my body.
Yeah.
Um, my 10th house is in Virgo. So is yours, I believe.
Is
Um,
it? We actually
yes,
share a lot of similarities then, don't
we
we?
do. Our houses are the same. Our
Yeah.
planets are different. Our planets are different, but the houses are the same for both you and I.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and a 10th house Virgo would be of service to others
Yeah.
in their work. And Virgo is to do with health and well-being. So being of service through health and
Gosh, that's
well-being is something that's in the chart. Yeah, yeah. Um,
wow.
and so when we go away from ourselves, we become ill.
Yeah.
We just become ill, either our mental health, our physical health, or both. One leads to the other usually, when we're not being fully our expression of ourselves. Um,
Yeah.
so that's where the wellness bit started. And then, just to give you a little bit of background, 6.5 years ago now, I sold my business that I had been running for 16 years, which was a Pilates and yoga studio in Chelmsford, which I set up on my own for 8 years. It grew to the point where I was teaching 23 classes a week and trying to run the business. So uh, a girl that was renting a therapy room from me, she was a physio and she did Pilates as well. We went in together. She came in as a third partner so that we could take on a better building, which was far bigger and greater than we'd ever imagined. So it was we took on, something bigger happened than what we were even thinking about. And that grew again over the next 8 years, so 16 years altogether. And then a spiritual awakening, dark night of the soul moment happened. And I ended up selling my business. And after that, that's when I started holding moon ceremonies because I needed to do something and I couldn't work in Chelmsford doing what I was doing because I'd sold my business.
Yeah.
I'd signed a contract that prevented me from doing that here, but I needed to still have my little stage. I
Yeah.
needed to be holding space, which is, part of my essence. And so I started holding moon ceremonies in person to share what I was into. And then during 2020, when we were all locked down, that's when it moved online. And
Yeah.
currently now it is still online because people come from further afield than just my local area. So I do still hold every new moon, every full moon where possible, and I've been doing that for now since 2018, I think. So
Yeah.
the holding the moon ceremony. So, um, all during that time, just before I sold the business, I'd realized that being the Cancerian, I'd been nurturing everybody else, but not myself.
Which happens
Um,
often. Yeah.
yeah. And in 2015, I think it was, I set up the Self Love Club and started holding
Oh,
self love
that's nice.
workshops, um, which is teacher teaches what they most need to learn. So it's helping to understand yourself and why don't I love myself and you know um your value, your self-worth, bringing that up. And that sort of then manifested into the moon. But during that time of the self-love club, I became absolutely like eat, sleep and breathe Hay House authors. you know so
I think we
um
might have all gone through that phase a bit.
yeah, so all of those self-help books, personal growth, spiritual stuff, and I had this like kind of dream that I wanted to be one of those on stage talking
Yeah.
about my book that I still haven't written. It's
You
there.
will though.
It's
You
there. It
will.
is there, yeah. Eventually,
Yeah.
eventually. Um, but anyway, that's where I came across Yasmin Boland and the Moonology thing. So the very first qualification, if you like, certification that I did, which now looking at it is quite basic. So, you know, anybody could go do that. You know, I recommend doing it because
It's good information, right?
yeah, it's really good information. It
Yeah.
teaches you about the moon. So that was being a moonologer was the first step into this, in being able to um, it become work and not just, you know, my own
Yeah.
interests
Like a
at home.
hobby. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but essentially, whether it's the moon ceremonies following the moon, a moonology chart, we would just look for your rising sign. And also, what I do is I make it a little bit more because, you know, Sag risings are always going to make it their way. They're never going to do it like everybody else does. They don't like that.
I don't know what you mean.
um, and what I do is I add in where your moon is, and we have a look specifically at your moon area. And then you get a chart that tracks your moons for the whole year so that you've got kind of like a plan, if you like, of like, right, next month, I know that this is going to be in my house of relationships. So
Oh, I love that. That's what you do with your clients, is it? Oh, that's actually
yeah,
so that's like a year ahead of, yeah, Moonology that
yeah,
links to what you should be sort of doing. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
And you've
fascinating.
got it all in one place and it's all been explained.
Yeah.
Um, but essentially, even if I do a full chart reading, you know, your whole chart. So, I mean, everyone's got a whole one of these. That you're not just a Cancerian, you're not just a Taurus, you're not just a anything. You've got a whole chart. You are all
Yeah.
of the signs in one way or another because they will show up in the house area
Yeah.
of your life. But it doesn't matter whichever one you do, wherever you start. My whole thing is about getting to know yourself and
Yeah.
understand yourself better. Because what that does is it gives you relief from that. I shouldn't be like this. I should be like that. You know, we live in a world now where we are literally bombarded with an
Definitely. Yeah.
illusion. Hopefully now that the planet Neptune has just very recently moved out of Pisces, where it was the ultimate illusion. Neptune represents Hollywood type, yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That
That kind
illusion
of heavily
of,
filtered life.
yeah,
Yeah.
where you've got cult-like guru illusionary leaders, you know,
Wow.
where people have been put on a pedestal they don't warrant having, and we have aspired to be like famous people.
Yeah.
And that's an illusion because it's not
Yeah.
real. Yeah. And now that Neptune has moved into the sign of Aries, we're at the beginning again.
Yeah.
That's the end of the zodiac wheel. So Pisces is the end of the story. Aries is the beginning. It's the baby. It's the leap of faith, the fool in the tarot. It's the pioneer. It's the assertive, take action, move forwards, let's begin something sign.
So it's
Um,
almost like as we approach the summer solstice, we're kind of hitting this reset
yeah,
of kind of like leaping
absolutely.
forward with our plans then.
And what a
Nice.
beautiful to have the summer solstice in. I
Oh, isn't
mean,
it
look at,
lovely? Isn't it lovely?
we literally can spend some time actually honouring the sun this week because we've
Yeah.
actually been able to see it.
Which for everyone else that's out there worldwide, you know that we're in the UK, as is Kelly, and honestly, we are being really blessed with amazing sunshine at the moment, aren't we? Like it's
Yeah.
a good 30 odd degrees, I think we're kind of hitting at the moment at the peak. This is really rare for us. It's been about 2 weeks since we saw rain. Yeah, we're quite impressed with it at the moment, so it's a good
Yeah.
week for the summer solstice.
Yeah, us Brits go crazy when the sun comes out because we never know
Yes.
when we
Yeah, we
might
do.
get it again.
It's so true.
So there is I'll be over at a place called the Wild Retreat in Sawbridgeworth. Some friends of mine, they used to hold events there, but they've taken over the campsite. So they're having some solstice events at the weekend, but it is
Oh, how
fabulous
lovely.
because it's a campsite. You can take the kids and the dog and all of that kind of thing. So that's going to be really nice over there.
Yeah, how fab.
Yeah.
Out in nature, lovely.
Okay. So as I said before this interview, that I would just, have a look at your chart and see what was going on. And it was just mad that I saw that, there's quite a lot of that we have in
The
common.
similarities are crazy, yeah.
Yeah. But again, that's my point of if you were ever doubting yourself or feeling that imposter syndrome thing, like I talked about Venus, my Venus being in Leo. And when I started a podcast, I was like, oh, why am I doing this? What's my need to do this? I mean, I just saw this red pop filter and I had to have it. And I was like, now I've got it. I need to actually do something with it. And, you go through all of that self-doubt stuff, and same with the astrology, putting myself out in the world as an astrologer. I've been reading, doing people's charts, and I've been into this for so long. I eat, sleep and breathe it. I literally do. Whatever I'm doing, I've always got astrology podcasts going on in the background, like people have Radio 1 or something. I have astrology on. But my Virgo moon, my inner perfectionist. So where your moon is your emotions, how your inner world is, how you feel on the inside. And my moon is in Virgo. And Virgo is, the side of the perfectionist, the analyst, that doesn't want to seem to be failing, needs to get it right and
Yeah.
perfect. That's if you go too much to the one way or the other. So it actually took me to finally get my exam results, to have amazing exam results, which stupidly should be no surprise. But as soon as that arrived, I was like, oh, I can stop feeling this imposter syndrome. I am an astrologer. And, I laugh with my partner, Tom, and I go to him, I'm an astrologer. And he goes, you are.
Oh, bless your heart. Like, you can't believe it.
Yeah, yeah. And I was just looking at your chart, just so what I did is I pulled up where the planets are now. And what's cool with astrology with this software is that you can go way back in time to the beginning of your life and beyond that, and you can go
Oh, wow.
forwards. So you can see
That's so
where
clever.
the planets are according to your chart. So you basically have your chart in the middle,
Yeah.
and then you can see where the planets are now and where they're aligning with you, with your personal blueprint. So a thing that stood out to me on yours is that you have got your Uranus opposite your Uranus. um which
How have I managed that?
huh?
How have
I'm
I
just
managed that?
well, Uranus, where it currently is at the very last degree
Just
of
opposite to when I was born.
yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
so
wow.
at the moment, Uranus is at 29 degrees of Taurus. So you've
Oh,
had Uranus in your sign of Taurus for the past 7 years, making radical, unexpected change
I will
in
not disagree with that.
your house of daily routines and also health. Yeah,
Yeah.
so all
Yeah.
around that area. Uranus is Uranus is a generational planet. It's an outer planet, so it affects a whole generation because it moves so slowly. It takes 84 years to go around the wheel, if you like. Um, so the house area is where it would be specific to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uranus
Yeah.
in Taurus has affected us all
Yeah.
generationally. Yeah. And people that were born 7 years ago, they will all have Uranus in Taurus in
Oh,
their
wow.
in their birth charts. Um,
Mm.
but your Uranus, when you were born, was at literally at 2 degrees of Sagittarius. So it literally is aligning there at the moment. So when it moves, when Uranus moves on the 7th of July into Gemini, you're going to have a complete opposition. So Uranus, it's going to move into the sign of Gemini on the 7th of July, my birthday, everybody.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not your birthday after what we just talked
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
I'm going to write this down.
And it will be, just to give you a little bit of a heads up, Bex, it will be
Yeah.
moving into our house, yours and mine, in our house of relationships.
So when it moves into Gemini, that'll be in the house of relationships.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it could, radically change things to do with our romantic, intimate relationships in some kind of way. And then it'll be there for a few years. But anything can happen with Uranus. And I actually have this gong here is the Uranus gong. And that one over there is Saturn. Tom is very Saturn. He's Aquarius. And even though they say the modern ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, he's very ruled by Saturn. He's very
Yeah.
Saturn. He always wants to know what time things are. He's always on time. It's all about time with Tom, Chronos. And he's very, discipline restrictions, but he is Uranus to look at. He doesn't look like everybody else, very Aquarius to look at.
Yeah.
But Uranus is my gong because it doesn't do time, and I don't do time very well. Um, so Uranus opposite your Uranus could be, it's what jokingly we might call a midlife crisis point in life. Yeah. When you
Really?
could radically change your identity,
I feel
it
like
could
I've
be
kind of been
in the
doing
world.
that over the last few years. Not radically changing it, more like coming home to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's
Like
in your
finding
home
myself
sign.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's in your home sign of Taurus. But
Yeah.
as soon as it moves into Gemini, it's going to be in opposition to your Sag rising.
Yeah.
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 So they can call it a midlife crisis of like,
That's
right.
it. I need a red sports car, quick.
Yeah. But we have the lovely Jupiter just moved into Cancer on the 9th of June. And I think even if you don't know anything about astrology, you might have noticed that shift. The lovely weather, the summertime, and Jupiter is a benefic planet. It's expansive, it's
Yes,
abundant,
yeah.
it's optimistic, and it hasn't been in the sign of Cancer for 12 years. So again, look back 12 years ago, and as they say, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. So I looked back in my Facebook photos, as you do, 12 years ago, what was happening. And then my business, my Pilates and yoga business, was growing exponentially. That's when it started to grow. I saw a picture of me and my ex-business partner holding a banner up that we
Oh,
had
no.
had on, we were sponsoring the local football club, and we had a big tent at the local fling festival where we had DJs and we were doing yoga as part of this festival, and having a good time. Basically, I was having a really good time. That actual festival was on my birthday weekend, I remember. And so that was a Jupiter in Cancer moment. For you and I, it's in our 8th house of shared resources. It's also the
Shared
house of,
resources.
yeah, it's also the house
Okay.
of death, rebirth, transformation. So I think, you can safely say that there's going to be quite a lot of transformation for you happening.
Shift. That's what's coming, isn't it? It's a shift.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that it's the house of things like inheritance and stuff. So again, to give a little anecdotal story of how astrology can give you relief. Um, One of the things that happened before I sold my business was I lost my dad very suddenly.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
And I was very traumatized by it. I mean, I know it's
Mm.
awful. Death is awful for everybody, but for whatever reason, I was really PTSD'd by it. And um, what happened around a few months later after that, so he died in 2017, in 2018, I've just checked back to when Uranus moved into Taurus. And because it's just about to move into Gemini, I was tracking back to see when it moved into Taurus. And the minute, more or less, that Uranus moved into the sign of Taurus, which is 6th house
Yeah.
for both of us, but it is 6th house for me as well. And it is where I have Saturn, and Saturn is challenge. Um, and remember, it's about the body, Taurus, the earth. It's this, it's our health. And it's also our daily routines, what we do from day to day.
Yeah.
I went literally as a bid to do self-love. I'd booked myself some time off to have a sabbatical from my business for 3 months, which had taken me 6 months to organise. So by the time it came round, I was absolutely done.
Burnt out. Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, I don't know how I'm ever going to stop. How am I ever going to stop? It's just relentless. And Uranus moved into Taurus, and I went into work to teach Pilates. And when I got there, I knew something was very wrong. And I went straight to Broomfield Hospital into emergency surgery because my appendix was perforating.
Oh my
And
gosh.
that was the day after that day, I never, ever went back to Hummingbird, Pilates and Yoga, my business. That was the last day I ever went there. Everything radically, unexpectedly, shockingly
Just kind
changed.
of came around it.
It
Yeah.
was my health and daily routines that changed.
Yeah.
But it took the health thing to change it for me.
Yeah, which often happens, doesn't it? Sometimes we need that loud nudge,
Yeah.
sometimes a bit louder than normal.
Uh-huh. And so within that time, throughout that time, as Uranus was moving through Taurus, Taurus also represents money because your rising sign is Venus. So it's about wealth, money. Obviously, I made the sudden shocking decision to sell the business after my sabbatical in between 2 eclipses, an eclipse in the sign of Cancer, an eclipse in the sign of Aquarius. And during that time, that very strong Uranus there, I suddenly decided that's it, I'm done. And I never went back, and I sold it when I got back. And then throughout that time, the Saturn restriction challenge was,
Yeah.
am I ever going to get the money? I was running out of money, but at the same time, I was also selling my dad's house. And then on Halloween that year, 31st of October, the money from the sale of my business and the money from the sale of my dad's house all landed in my bank account on exactly the same day. And my money was radically changed.
Yeah.
And this
All
is
these
where
things have got
I
their
can
own
show you.
timeline, really.
Yeah. But I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know this. This has taken me studying my birth chart, going back in
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
learning
Yeah.
about this. And can you imagine the guilt that I was carrying around money and my dad's inheritance money and living off of it, because 2020, I had to live off of it. I couldn't work because of the contract that I'd signed,
Yeah.
Saturn restrictions. And when I saw all of that was in my chart and in my astrology, I was able to forgive myself.
Which is
And that's where the
huge
relief.
and
Yeah,
powerful, that's
yeah,
immense.
yeah. And when you get that, you just want to be in a Virgo moon, a Virgo 10th house. You want to be of service to others and share
Yeah.
it. And so that's, why now I do still teach a bit of Pilates, and I love to teach yoga. I still yoga. It's one of the things that saved me. That 3 month sabbatical, I spent a whole month in New York doing advanced Strala yoga,
Oh,
eight
wow.
weeks, 8 weeks after having my appendix out. But it was there that I made that decision. I was
Yeah.
in New York when I made that decision, because I was in a safe space. Um, Strala yoga really helps to regulate your nervous system, so you go back into feeling safe, which Cancerians need to feel very safe and secure.
Yeah. So do Taurus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they
Taurus is
do.
terrible
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And particularly for
Detachability.
Taurus, need financial security. It's very important for
Yes.
them. Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
yeah, to have material security. But yeah, so um, I'd love to, dive more into your chart with you at another time.
And I would absolutely love to. Yeah. I think we might need a nice cup of coffee and a good chat, because the thing
Yeah,
is there's so much information. I think a lot of people may not realize, when they think of like an astrological chart or birth chart or anything else. I think they think it's as simple as a bit of information about the star sign that they fall under, and so on. But there's just it's beyond a wealth of knowledge, isn't it? It just is so extensive. I mean, as you said, it goes beyond when you were born and further than now.
yeah,
It's just so much information,
yeah,
that they are absolutely fascinating to dive into. They really are.
yeah. And the astrology that I've studied, I did do an online course, and originally, and I had to write to them to point out their mistakes.
Mhm.
And because of that,
Oh
I
no.
thought, this doesn't feel like this is going to, it didn't feel like, that I would have credibility if I just did that course. So, um, the opportunity came up to study with, Adam Ellenbass Nightlight Astrology, which is Hellenistic astrology, which is the ancient astrology for the modern mystic. So basically, um, we use the whole sign house system, which isn't what they use in what I call pop astrology. For
Right.
popular astrology, they use a different system. But this is based on the ancient thousands of years worth of observation of the symbology and the divinatory aspect of it, combined and integrated with the more modern scientific, psychological, more rationalized version of astrology, because there is some science in there, but really most of it comes from observation, which again, us Sag risings would love that. The philosopher who watches and looks at the big picture. And I don't know about you, but I love to join the dots
Yeah.
and see that that led to this, led to that, led to this, and this is why this happened, rather than getting bogged down in the details of
You see,
something.
that's back to what you said at the beginning. We like the big picture. We like all those bits adding up, so you get the whole picture.
Yeah.
You might not get it now, but
Uh-huh.
I still like it when I get it and I look back, and I
Yeah.
see that there was a big picture. I just couldn't see it. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's always
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been, I think for me, whilst I've been doing people's chart readings, it's seeing people go, oh, no matter what it's been about. It might have been to do with mother, father, siblings, children. I just recently I did a chart for um, a colleague, and she came back and asked me to do her children's charts, and she found massive relief in knowing her children's charts, seeing them and then having them and being able to, she asked permission from her children to do it as well, which was lovely. But to know it wasn't her being a bad mother, which is
Which we all
massive.
want to know that. Yeah, we all want to know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's massive, isn't it? That you're not carrying that,
definitely.
oh gosh, it's not me that, it was going to be like this. And I was going to have to
And that's the
deal with
thing,
it.
like,
Yeah.
it just will be like this. It's not that you've got no free will, it's just this is almost who you were destined to be, you know? This is
Yeah.
your destined path, you just, yeah. You've got your free will in the moment, but it will always guide you back to what you are supposed to be doing and who you are supposed to become. I mean, when my son was born, I was recommended a book called Sun Signs, and it's an old book from the 60s, maybe
Yeah.
70s. And it was written in such a manner. It was quite an old book, and I still found the information fascinating, though. Like, you're reading it, you can tell it's got age to it, and it's getting on a bit, but it was still really interesting information. And it spoke about my son, who's a Capricorn,
Uh-huh.
and that he would be quite rigid, and he would be quite not grumpy, but that sort of thing. You look at this little baby and go, no, you couldn't possibly ever be like that. Honestly, everything that I've read in this book has just come slowly into his personality over the years. It really has. And what I loved about the book was it spoke about them as a baby.
Hmm.
So Capricorn baby, Capricorn child, Capricorn adult, Capricorn male, Capricorn female. So you could even put it into context of which era your life you're in and
Yeah.
what sex you are, which just absolutely blew my mind. It really
Yeah.
did. It's just fascinating.
Yeah. But I think back to, simplifying things. Um, when another thing that I do with the moon ceremonies is that we don't just do a ritual for that moon. What I do, it's an hour and a half, and it'll be, if it's a new moons are really very much about beginnings, because it's new again, it's a chance to start again. So we might sit and have a think about what we're wishing for, what we want to manifest. And a full moon is a time for, what do we need to let go of? What do we need to forgive? What do we need to not take forwards with us? It's illuminating things at a full
Yeah,
moon, and we're going inwards on the new moon. But I always start the moon ceremony with the lunar news. And so that will be, I will share what's happening according to where the moon is, but I will also share the current astrology and how it's affecting us. So you get little bits at a time, sort of every 2 weeks, you get to
yeah,
a little bit of information, not too much. And the same on the podcast. I put a bit, I try and condense it down on the podcast. We go a bit more in depth on a moon ceremony. So it's not, we end with a little ritual. Um, and also I give journaling prompts. And a fun thing that I kind of found by accident really was, I'll give everybody a journaling prompt, and whilst everybody's kind of, in their minds got the same question going on, albeit different answers, I pull the oracle, I'll be shuffling the oracle cards, and it's amazing
nice.
when you always get that backup from the oracle as well. There's always a significant thing in there
Yeah,
according to, and I suppose it's a nice, fun way to learn about it without having to go into heavy detail.
yeah,
Um, and obviously, if you know your rising sign, so for your rising sign, you can then track the moon, but you do need your time of birth for that. If you don't know your time of birth, it can be worked out as near as possible. There are some determining factors that you can go back over time to significant moments in life, particularly in childhood, that can determine your time of birth. And there are some experts out there that can do it, but you can also use your intuition on it. So I've done it before where somebody's
Okay.
been, oh, it's around between this time, and we've gone forwards and backwards, and we've gone, no, you're definitely not that as a rising sign. You're definitely this, because that's getting to know yourself.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so that's why, you know, um, when people say, whenever I say I'm an astrologer, people say, oh, can you guess what sign I am? Rising sign is how you come across to others. So might not be able to guess what sign you are, what sun sign you are, because it might be that your identity, the character that you play in your movie, is more obvious than your essence. You might
Yeah.
be hiding that essence away. I always call it
Yeah.
deep mode. When you're tired, when you're run down, you tend to go back into being your sun sign. That's what I always think. But your sun sign is also what I call the plot line of your movie. So the theme of your life would be Taurus,
Yeah.
and it would also be sixth house for you. That would be, if we go to watch Bex's movie, it's very Taurian, and it's all about that day to day, being of service, health and well-being. It's all very much around that. That is the story playing throughout. Whereas mine's eighth house, which is, tax, debt, inheritance, death, rebirth, transformation, the mysteries of life. It's all around that subject, my story. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, so the moon is how you feel about it all on your inside.
Yeah.
And your rising is the character that you play in the movie. It's how you express all of that out into the world. So that gives a very basic explanation of knowing a bit more about ourselves. It's a basic way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, those three signs combined can tell you ever so much about yourself anyway, can't they?
Yeah,
That three combo,
yeah,
learning a little bit more about those and yourself are
yeah,
very telling, very, very telling.
yeah,
But yeah, I would highly encourage anybody to get in touch with Kelly and look at birth charts, but not just. So this was actually a really interesting conversation we had, wasn't it? Not just about yourself. And as Kelly's just said, you can do it for your kids, you can do it, whatever you need to, but you can also do it for your business, Kelly says,
you
which
can.
I find absolutely fascinating. So Kelly can consult from an astrological perspective regarding sort of the birth moment of your business. So you said for
Yeah,
you, it was when that person commented saying, "Is this your new brand about all things moon?" And you
yeah,
took that as your birth moment. And there's got to be a moment like that for every business, whether it was when you chose your name or you decided you're going to go ahead with it. Maybe you registered with Companies House, whatever it is. There's always
yeah,
a pinnacle point, isn't there, that you could
yeah,
pick, and then you can do birth charts on your business, and it will guide you um, in that sense as well. Guide you if you're on the right track and if you're doing the right thing, as you said, remove imposter syndrome. Let you know that you really are meant for this,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So my
which is
business birth
amazing.
chart is um the moon is in Cancer in the first house of identity, all things moon.
Yeah.
Um,
Incredible.
where Venus is can help you with your branding, as in how you attract people to you. So almost by magic, if you use your Venus energy in how you attract people, that's also really useful. So like I said, I know that my personal chart Venus is in Leo, but also my business birth chart Venus is in Leo. So
It's in
I
Leo.
have to put me out in the public eye to be seen, to attract
And I have
people.
to say, with that in mind, background for us, Kelly and I have only actually met physically once at a networking meeting for local businesswomen. However, I had actually already been following Kelly because of all the lunar and the planetary stuff, because I'm just, I'm a bit of a moon slut, me. I love it all, absolutely love it all. And, I was following Kelly anyway. And you saying that you need to put you out there as the branding.
Hmm.
Your photos you did, those dark photos with the beautiful illuminated balls, and they are spectacular. Honestly, they're actually what drew me in to follow you.
And do you
So
know who
it
did
does just go to
those?
show you, doesn't it?
Ingrid Tolosi did those photos. She
Just
was she
beautiful.
was the photographer for that. I've
Wow.
always said to her, you should do photography again. Ask her, because she does amazing photos. She just doesn't talk about it.
They were incredible, but it was those photos, like small, tiny, like on a screen, tiny little thumbnail.
Yeah,
But it was what drew me in. So you saying that you need to be the face of it, it
yeah,
really does work.
yeah. And
Because I
and that
found
doesn't
you long,
always apply
long before
for
I met you.
everyone. Yeah. So if somebody's
Yeah,
not really not wanting that, that's probably true.
yeah,
They're probably not wanting to be out. I mean, it is actually detrimental for some people to be in the
yeah.
public eye. So, for instance, my partner Tom, even though he does Gong to the Moon with me, he originally, when I had Hummingbird Pilates and Yoga Studio, I used to host gong baths there. So I used to have someone come in to do them so I could get to go to them once a month.
Yeah,
And we
I
always
don't
did
blame you.
them. We always did a full moon gong bath.
Yeah.
Um, and when Tom discovered the gongs through me, he fell in love with the gongs as well as me. And he wanted a gong because he's fascinating. He is amazing. He's like the gong guru. He plays it so well. He's amazing. So we did one event where I was sharing um screening of a film called Down to Earth. And so they asked Tom, could he open the film with the gong? So he had to go on his own in front of an audience, and he literally, his anxiety was so bad. He said to me,
Oh, bless his heart.
I can't do it on my own. I need you to do it with me. And looking at his chart, it is actually his 12th house, you see. He needs to be hidden. So what they actually did is he played the gong behind a screen. And
Oh,
then,
wow.
yeah, because he needed to be hidden. He didn't want to be out on stage. He likes to look different. He stands out because he looks different, but he doesn't want to be at the front. He needs me to do that.
Yeah, but that's probably for him as well, isn't it? That way, the way he looks is for him. It's for you. It's just for that the way he feels. Whereas,
Yeah.
yeah, putting that on stage is a very different on display. It's a very different feeling, and it doesn't fit everybody. It
Yeah.
really
He never
doesn't.
talked to anyone really until the end of the gong bath. At the end, he'll go and have conversations with people about their experience, but he won't sit and talk to the audience. He just sits there looking all Aquarian with his gong. You know,
There are worse
his
ways to look.
drums, and he's got like this Aboriginal talk thing, sound thing that he uses, and he loves
Wow.
that. And it's really important to him that he's good at that. But yeah, so it is detrimental for some people to be out in the public eye. It's
Yeah.
not, if they're forced into it, it's not good for them. Whereas,
No, not at
I'll be like,
all.
yes, I'll go first, I'll go at the front.
See, I'm just a bit behind you. So I have a performing arts background. But I was always shy. I knew what I loved to do. I didn't have a lot of confidence to do it. It's almost like
Mhm.
if you shut your eyes, I can do what I can do. Over the years, I've become more confident. Obviously, now I've got a podcast. It's now a video podcast. I still sing. I've got, I'm in a band, but I still get very nervous with that sort of stuff. So I'm behind you. You may be first to put your hand up and say, "I'll do it. I'll do it." I'm the one that will just wait a second, see if people like you will go first, and then I will go. I'll go next, and that's me. I'm second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that would be, I mean, Oh, where's your moon's in Aquarius, so it's quite a different kind of moon, an inside feeling. Um, where is your Venus? Yeah, see, now your Venus is in the fifth house, and the fifth house, even though it's Aries here for you, the fifth
Yeah.
house is really very much the Leo energy of self-expression.
Yeah.
So, you know, you express yourself in the public eye through your voice, through singing, because it's
Yeah.
creativity. I did wonder
Yeah, and
what
do you
your
know what? When
creative.
I don't, I'm very creative, and when I'm not, I really feel it. Like you feel the
Yeah,
burn of it, kind of thing. That it's almost like a dampening feeling, like you're missing something.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, yeah, no, it's very important to me.
yeah. So I think, I mean, why are we not taught this from school? Why is this not
Have
in
this
school?
conversation all the time. Literally,
It's
so
just,
many guests, so many guests. Like, why are we not helping the children from now understand themselves better so they don't have to get to 40 years old, 50 years old and start learning about themselves in the middle of their life? Why can't they learn from now between astrology and planetary alignment and human design and just all of it, mindfulness and meditation and yoga? And they teach yoga at school, but it's not it's not any yoga I've ever seen in my life.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's a start. It's a
This is
start.
start.
There's a little bit of that going on now. And we were at a festival, holding a gong bath on the main stage area, and a mum came in with her daughter, who's around about 6 or 7 years old. She asked if it was okay for her to join in. I said, yes, kids can get fidgety. They might want to sit up and look around and see where the sounds are coming from. But as long as she doesn't bother anybody around her, that's fine. But she came down to the front with her mum, head towards the gong, put her little sun hat over her face. And do you know what? We had to wake her up. She
Oh,
was absolutely gone with the gong. She
oh
was
my
gone.
gosh, that's
She
so
was in like a
cute.
little gong coma, honestly. She was literally out of it. And when I had to prod her a couple of times and give her a little shake to wake her up, and she sort of woke up, and I said to her, the spaceship has landed. We're back. Where have you been? And she said, I don't know. And she absolutely gone. I was like, parents, you want to know how to get your children off to sleep?
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing quite like seeing the
Yeah.
kids relax like that. And where I work with energy healing and stuff, the kids are so receptive to it. My son on the outside, because he's older, he's almost a teenager now. On the outside, he's not overly receptive to it. It's very like, oh, why I don't want to sit still. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But when he's into it and you just kind of do it with him, you can just see him melting into it. My
Yeah.
younger daughter, however, huge empath, just absorbs it. She loves my bongo. She loves the little sound bowls.
Yeah.
And like she feels all of that on a huge level. And when you kind of look and go, it's amazing. You should be tapping into this. Both of
Yeah.
them in their own way, you should be tapping into what feels good for you. Because there
Mhm.
is nothing more. I never got taught how to relax. I was always taught to be on edge.
Yeah.
Always be on edge, sit on the edge of your seat and wait for the next thing to do. Trying to relax, which is something really natural to a Taurian, isn't it?
Yeah.
We love relaxation. We love laying back with comfortable things. Um, I wish someone had shown me this sort of stuff, definitely. And I think that the kids all deserve it. They really do.
Yeah.
They're
And
very receptive.
having your moon in Aquarius means that you need to detach
Yeah.
sometimes. You need to detach from all of that overwhelming feeling and just detach for a little while. So, and that can more often than not, an Aquarian will isolate themselves a little bit to feel better. So I know that um, Tom, when he gets overwhelmed with everything, he needs to take himself into the woods in the camper van on his own, and all he does is just, chop wood, make a fire, sit and do nothing, be in nature, in detaching himself from all of that stuff and isolating himself for a little while so that he can then come back and deal with things. So, it's a useful thing to know for others as well that, oh, you've just disconnected from me. What's that? And we all make it about us. Can you imagine a Cancerian and an Aquarian? Cancerians want to cling. We want to cuddle to feel safe and secure, and Aquarius need to detach and disconnect to feel safe and secure. So you can imagine that to and froing.
It's my
Wild.
husband's a Gemini, so we've got that constant chalk and cheese situation there as well, where you have to very much understand and accept the other
Yeah,
sides of those people, because they are different. I am very homebody. A walk in nature will do me very happily. Nice
yes,
book. I'm like the happiest chick on earth. Cup of tea, really
yeah,
happy. And he gets bored really easily. He needs to be out and
yeah.
socializing,
Stimulated. You need
stimulated very.
mental stimulation. Yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
I'm the other way round. Everything else stimulates me, so I just kind of want to come down from it all. Like pretty much what you're saying about the Aquarius energy. Just
yeah,
isolate myself and go quiet, go into
yeah.
myself until I recoup and come back again.
But I would say, just I literally just looked down at your chart because you've got Mercury and Gemini in your house of relationships. You need that intellectual attraction in a
Yeah.
relationship. You need that intellectual stimulation
Yeah,
and
yeah,
conversation. It wouldn't work for you to be with somebody who you couldn't have a conversation with on an intellectual, mental level. That would attract you to somebody. So a Gemini would
who
be,
can talk the hind legs off of a donkey? Yep.
yeah, yeah. So that's actually in your chart. That's important for you.
Yeah.
So
That's incredible. Well, do you know what, Kelly? Thank you so, so much for being here today. Honestly,
thank
I could listen to
you.
you for just absolutely hours. I really could. I could just let you keep going, honestly. Just go make another brew. But it's been lovely to have you on. And guys, because we go out to obviously worldwide, I will put all of the links for Kelly. So I'm sure we've got website, haven't we? We've got Facebook, Instagram, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Kelly's
yeah,
going to give me a link to
yeah,
her current offer at the moment. And then I will also pop a link for Kelly's podcast, which is really awesome as well. And if you want to join in the moon rituals, I know that you can access that through Facebook and Instagram, can't you?
yeah.
As
I'm
well
on
as
my
the website.
website. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And even on my podcast, I always put all the links on there to anything that's coming up. So
Yeah, which is fab.
maybe we'll do this the other way around sometime and put you on the.
Maybe. So Kelly hasn't had guests yet, have you? No,
Yeah.
so that could be very interesting,
Maybe
couldn't
you
it?
could like sing your answers. You'll feel more
Oh.
comfortable that way.
Oh, I don't know if they need to hear that. Well, thank you so, so much. And I really wish you a wonderful day ahead. And guys, get in touch with Kelly if any of this has resonated to you. If you want to see or find out anything further, look into her or work with her, get in touch. She's a fabulous person. Thank you so much for joining us today. Until next time.